Just how are you feeling with that? Obviously, you came back and
Yeah.
seemed to be fine.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we faced some adversity with some injuries this game. But you know what? We're used to that. We've had that at the beginning of the year. This is just another hump that we're going to get over, and we're gonna be okay.
It's August 20th, 2025, and Sophie Cunningham is on the basketball court, holding her knee and clearly in pain. The Indiana Fever player who's been speaking out about WNBA officiating problems all season is down. And what happened next reveals some serious issues with how the WNBA handles things. This injury sparked a huge fan reaction and exposed problems that have been building all season long. But the twist? The injured player herself defended the very system that many fans think is failing. I'm going to walk you through what really happened with Sophie's injury, why fans are so upset about it, and what this means for the WNBA going forward. As we dive into this story, you'll see how this single incident connects to much bigger problems in women's basketball.
Have an update on Sophie?
No. Do you have an update on Sophie? Yeah.
Let's do more like MRIs sometime.
Yeah, MRI tomorrow.
Just quickly on something. I mean, what's going through your mind when you see her down like that, and you're jogging over there?
I'm like, holy shit.
If you're following the WNBA this season, you need to hear this full story, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time because this situation keeps developing, and there's more to come. Let me break down exactly what went down during the Fever versus Connecticut Sun game. Sophie Cunningham came off the bench and went to help on defense. Bria Hartley was driving toward the baseline, trying to make a pass across the court. The two players collided, Hartley fell, and Sophie's knee got injured. But things got complicated when a photo started circulating online. It showed Hartley on the ground, and it looked like she might be smiling while Sophie was grabbing her knee in pain. Fans saw this and immediately thought it was intentional. The reaction was intense.
Yeah, I know you're a tough girl. That looked painful.
Yeah.
Oh, Cunningham is down. My goodness.
I did tear my MCL, and if you're going to hurt your knee, that is like the best possible case. And so I think the league as a whole, but really us, we've just gone through so much adversity, and then injury-wise, it's just been like, you can't make this.
Sophie later confirmed on her podcast that she tore her MCL and will miss the rest of the season. She's having surgery and expects about 4 months of recovery time. But then she surprised everyone by defending Bria Hartley. "I'm friends with Bria," Sophie said on her podcast. "I do not think that she did this on purpose. She wouldn't do this on purpose. She would not hurt me. I'm actually really close with her." Now, a veteran basketball analyst who's covered the NBA for over 10 years watched this whole situation unfold. She noticed something important about how differently the WNBA operates. "I have been covering the NBA for over a decade," she explained, "and I'm quickly learning that I just can't have the same standards for both leagues. There's a lot more sensitivity in the WNBA.
Sophie Cunningham will be out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. Now, initially, the Indiana Fever didn't even report what the knee injury was. They just said that it would be season ending. However, Alex Filippo, she reported that Sophie Cunningham did tear her MCL and that she would be out for the rest of the season.
The way that they treat their star players is not the same in the WNBA as it is in the NBA. That's a significant observation from someone who knows professional basketball. An experienced analyst saying the WNBA doesn't protect its stars the same way the NBA does. But the injury is just part of a bigger story. What's been happening to Sophie all season long shows deeper problems with how the league operates. Sophie Cunningham has been fined 3 times this season by the WNBA. 3 times. For pointing out officiating issues that fans can clearly see. Her latest fine came from suggesting that Paige Beckers gets favorable treatment from referees. The fan reaction to this pattern has been telling.
What is it about this group, where resiliency, things like what happened to Sophie, what is it about them that seems to bring the best out in them?
It's going to be hard to talk about without getting emotional. I mean, first and foremost, they're good human beings.
Many fans are expressing that they prefer independent sports coverage over mainstream media because they feel they get more honest reporting. There's widespread frustration about the commissioner's lack of response to these issues. Fans are also pointing out inconsistencies in how the league handles player statements. They note that some players can make critical comments about officiating without consequences, while others get fined for similar observations. The pattern is clear. The league watches podcasts closely enough to fine players for honest comments, but they can't seem to watch their own officiating closely enough to prevent dangerous situations.
I mean, especially the way that she fell and, how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in. At the time, it's like crap. And then you go down there and you see her and it's like, okay, just want her to calm down and be able to regroup. And then it turns to problem solving.
Sophie's injury also adds to the Indiana Fever's growing problem. Caitlin Clark is out. Sydney Colson is out. Ari McDonald is out. Now Sophie Cunningham is out too. One fan summed it up perfectly. Starting PG out, backup PG out, backup PG out, backup PG out. Being a point guard on this Fever team is like being a drummer for Spinal Tap. This isn't just bad luck. There's a pattern here that's worth examining. A sports analyst's investigation revealed something concerning when she compared WNBA operations to NBA standards. She found that the leagues handle star players very differently. Say Caitlin Clark was a star franchise player on an NBA team and all of these things were happening.
No update. Just felt a little something in her groin, so we'll get it evaluated and see what happens from there.
Yeah, just kind of follow up on that. Looked like she was kind of grabbing at her right groin area. Is that the concern?
Yeah, if that's the one she was grabbing at, I don't know which one it was, but yeah, I mean, that's it.
The analyst explained, I just don't think that there's any way in hell that they would bring her back for the end of the season if they thought that they weren't going to be going anywhere in playoffs. But the WNBA seems to operate by different rules, and fans have definitely noticed. The fan sections tell the real story. Many fans are expressing similar feelings. They came for Caitlin Clark, they stayed for Sophie Cunningham, and now they're considering leaving because the league won't protect either player.
After the game, I had some pain and then, got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see, but, those type of things don't lie, so, yeah. I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine. Yeah, I'll be reevaluated this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game.
Fans are writing that they started watching the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark and stayed because of Sophie Cunningham, but they feel the league needs to address the type of play that's currently allowed. Many believe the current officiating standards could hurt the league's growth. Other fans are more direct, saying they're done watching what they describe as overly physical play that resembles mixed martial arts more than basketball, WUFC, women's UFC. That's what some fans are calling the WNBA now. But there's something else troubling about this situation. Sophie Cunningham, dealing with a torn MCL, still had to be careful about how she talked about what happened to avoid getting fined again. Several fans picked up on this dynamic. Many observers note that both Caitlin Clark and Sophie tend to take diplomatic approaches with the media, even when situations might warrant stronger responses. Others suggest that players might feel pressure to downplay issues to avoid making their situations worse with league management. The suggestion is that players feel pressure to downplay problems because speaking honestly about them leads to financial penalties. Sophie's 3 fines this season support this theory. Meanwhile, other players have made similar comments about officiating without facing consequences. The inconsistent enforcement is becoming obvious. And while Sophie is publicly supporting the system, fans aren't convinced. Their reaction shows something the WNBA should pay attention to. The fan discussions across different platforms show something new. Engaged, knowledgeable fans making deliberate decisions to stop watching. These aren't casual viewers getting bored. These are people who understand professional sports, and they're choosing to walk away. Some fans are expressing hope that Caitlin Clark won't return this season, suggesting the league should use the offseason to fix officiating problems. They worry that continued injuries at this rate could seriously damage the league's future. Fans are also recognizing business problems beyond just the games.
Dude, and it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Some believe the league might not announce Caitlin Clark's status clearly because they don't want to lose fans and revenue for the rest of the season. The theory is that keeping hope alive about her return helps maintain interest. That's a serious accusation that the league might be misleading fans about player availability to protect ticket sales. Other fans have analyzed the business structure, pointing out that the WNBA has numerous ownership groups taking significant cuts while serving a relatively small player base. They see this as an unsustainable model. These aren't simple complaints. These are detailed critiques from fans who clearly understand how professional sports should work. And they're taking action. Multiple fans reported canceling their WNBA League Pass subscriptions. Others said they only watch analysis videos now instead of actual games. Perhaps the strongest reactions came from longtime fans who said they've been with the WNBA since its early days, but are considering walking away again due to how they feel certain players are being treated. This represents a nightmare scenario for any league, losing both new fans and longtime supporters at the same time. The pattern is clear. Fans are choosing individual players over the league itself. They're following specific athletes rather than supporting the WNBA as a whole. And when those players get hurt or treated poorly, the fans leave. So what does this all mean? Sophie Cunningham will recover from her MCL tear. That's the good news. 4 months puts her back for next season, but the bigger questions remain open. Will Caitlin Clark return this season? Based on analyst reports, it seems unlikely, and fan reactions support that theory. Many fans are expressing that they no longer have clear expectations for how the team will handle situations. But the bigger issue is fan engagement.
But she is expected to make a full recovery before next season, so obviously that is good news. And when you talk about tears in your knee, an MCL is one that has a quicker recovery period for the most part than something like an ACL, or sometimes even meniscus can be longer than an MCL. A patellar tendon obviously is much more severe than.
The feedback data shows a clear trend. People are walking away. Not because they don't like women's basketball, but because they feel the league isn't protecting the players they came to watch. Fans are describing a loss of excitement and joy in watching the league, with many saying the focus has shifted away from basketball skills toward physical confrontations. The WNBA is dealing with a trust problem. They have two of the biggest stars in league history, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, and both are sidelined. One from injury, one from multiple injuries and ongoing disputes with league management. The analyst's point about league sensitivity might be key. She noted that the WNBA operates with a lot more sensitivity than the NBA, but not in ways that protect players. Instead, it's sensitivity to criticism that results in fines for honest discussions while dangerous play continues. Fans have noticed this backward priority system, and they're responding by tuning out. The WNBA finally had mainstream attention. They had talented players bringing in new audiences. They had momentum building towards something special. Instead of using that momentum to improve officiating, protect star players, and create a better product, they're fining players for pointing out obvious problems while failing to address the root causes. Sophie Cunningham will be back. Caitlin Clark will eventually return to the court. But the trust between the league and its fans might be damaged long term. The question isn't whether Sophie's injury was intentional. The question is whether the WNBA has created conditions where such injuries are more likely, and whether they're more focused on controlling the message than fixing the problems. Based on what we've seen this season, fans have reached their conclusion, and they're voting with their wallets and attention. The WNBA wanted to be taken seriously as a professional sports league. Now they're finding out what happens when fans start treating them like one, complete with accountability for results and consequences for failing to protect their product. Sophie Cunningham's injury might be a turning point. Not because of what happened on the court, but because of how the league responded and how fans reacted to that response. The next few weeks will show us whether the WNBA learned anything from this situation or whether they'll repeat the mistakes that could cost them their biggest opportunity for growth. Make sure you're subscribed because this story isn't over, and let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Sophie was being completely honest about the injury, or was she protecting herself from more league problems? Your answer might say a lot about where women's professional basketball is headed.